All right, so this was supposed to be my week one update, but as luck would have it, of course, the whole family got wiped out with the flu. Now, 14 days in on Ozempic, 10 pounds down, and honestly, I think the last couple weeks deserves a conversation. So let's talk about it. Hey, welcome. If you're new here, my name's Ruben, and I started off this journey at just under 300 pounds with a mindset goal to reach just below 200 by around this time next year. This channel is pretty much me documenting my journey on a GLP-1 from start to finish, trying to lose over 100 pounds from a male standpoint. What I've noticed is there's not a lot of guys out there that are covering their journeys, and so I figured, you know what? Let me start a channel and honestly not only document it for myself, but answer some questions and bring you guys along for the ride. This video will be a combined week 1 and 2, given the whole fiasco of the flu. But I'd love to let you guys know kind of what's changed, what I noticed over the last couple weeks, as well as just let you guys know if the medication really worked. So before I get into that week over week stuff, what I really want to do is just zoom out and let's talk a little bit more macro here and let's talk about why I'm doing this. For me, it's not just a couple vanity pounds. This is really about getting into control of myself. I've spent years feeling stuck and being tired of being tired. I'm kind of tired of starting over again and never really getting anywhere. And so this is supposed to be that final hurrah moment to try to make it work. I want the energy, I want that consistency, and I'm really hoping that this time around it works out. Getting below 200, it's a pretty intense number to get to, but honestly, I'm hoping that it works this time. And going into this, my expectations were kind of all over the place, to be honest. Online, sometimes you see these two extremes. On one hand, people say this is this miracle drug, makes you not want to eat anything, everything looks disgusting to you, everything is unappetizing. And then on the other hand, you hear some people with these total horror stories that talk about these terrible side effects, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole shebang. Honestly, my first 2 weeks were really none of those. Week 1 was pretty subtle, to be honest. Like, just kind of waiting for something to happen and wondering if I even did it right. Did I inject myself properly? Did I mistakenly not put the medication in? And I remember distinctly thinking, crap, did I not inject myself properly? Like, did I do something wrong here? But then around like day 3 or 4 or so, something truly shifted. And it wasn't really in my stomach, it was more in my brain. Honestly, the biggest change so far in both weeks 1 and 2 has really just been the food noise being shut right off. If you've never dealt with it, you really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And so I apologize. But really, for those who have dealt with it, know exactly what I'm talking about. That constant background noise, thinking about what you just ate, when's going to be the next meal, which snacks you want to have, are you feeling hungry again? All of that just kind of just dims right out. And it's almost like it's not really something you think through or think about, to be honest. Like, it's not completely gone, but super quiet. Like, not really something you think through. And then something else that was really odd was by week 2, I was leaving food on my plate and really making very small plates to begin with. Not because I was overly trying to be disciplined and like overly trying to make sure that I didn't eat the things, but it was legitimately like my body was saying, nah, we're good. Like, I don't actually need it. And that is very new for me. Like, very much not how I typically operate. I mean, I grew up in a household that basically was like, if you didn't eat your whole plate, it was basically a sin. And so learning to eat without those mental challenges and those mental conversations has definitely been the weirdest, but also most exciting part of this whole thing. And so then this is where it really hit me. During week 2, so this past week, I went on a business trip. Normally, work trips are an absolute disaster for me. No matter what I try to do, they're always a disaster. I don't know if it's just the airport food, restaurants, late dinners, the stress, obviously, of being away from home. Usually, I treat it like a free-for-all. Like, whatever I want to eat, whatever I'm feeling like eating, I eat. But this time, I didn't do that. I ate, don't get me wrong, and I still enjoyed the food, but I stopped when I felt like stopping. No spiraling, no, I already messed up, so let's just do it anyway mentality. No, I'll just do this on Monday instead. It legitimately felt like just a normal day, and I would just be okay with it. And I think that specifically was when I realized, oh shit, this medication is doing something. Like it is actually working. Because for once, the environment didn't change, but I think I did. And real quick, if you're starting a GLP-1 or if you're already on a GLP-1, I'd love to know where you're at in your journey. And so if you could drop a comment below, let me know where you're at. Are you just researching? Are you already on it? Or maybe you're on the fence, not knowing exactly what you want to do. Totally get it, because that was me. And so if you'd also like, it'd be really great if you could give a thumbs up and subscribe as well. This way you can get updated as soon as I post videos like this, where I'm honestly just being real, giving you all real information and bring you along with what's going on with me and my body, as well as, of course, how much weight I'm losing along the way. Now, let's talk side effects, because I think that's something that going into this, I was a little worried about. And of course, it's also something that a lot of people are worried about. And so whether if you're starting or if you're already on one, I'd love to let you know at least what's going on with me in my life. So after a full 2 weeks, I can honestly say no major side effects. Still no major side effects. I've had some mild nausea here and there, but that's typically because if I've ever overeaten one specific meal, but that's not as if it was any different than if I had done that before the medication. Whenever I would have eaten too much, I would feel nauseous. Now, I've noticed that digestion is also slightly slower, but again, not dramatically slower and not doesn't really cause any sort of discomfort. I've also been able to work, travel, live my normal life. I mean, for crying out loud, we have the bloody flu and, we made it through that. So again, totally normal. Now, of course, everyone's experience is different, but for me so far, I can say pretty straightforward. Now, I think the one thing I do want to obviously be honest about is something that has been a negative is I do find I have energy crashes. I don't know, might just be me, but what I've noticed is, especially at certain times of the day after I've had a really long day, and it might be because I'm in a caloric deficit, is there will be a point of the day that I just get really, really tired and I just want to pass out. Now, of course, that sucks because I still have to be a dad, I still have to be a husband, but there are moments where I just run out of energy and I literally crash. Now, I'm assuming it's my body just trying to get used to the medication and still adjusting. And so I'll keep you guys updated if that improves and how that changes. But for right now, that's the one thing I do notice is I do get pretty tired some days. Not all the time, but there are some days that I do definitely feel pretty tired. Now, a positive is that one of the things I have noticed is I'm eating significantly less without trying. Honestly, this is a side effect of the medication is I'm just less hungry. Now, I'm not completely moving away from food. I'm not, disgusted by food, but less hungry for sure. There is less of that constant urge to eat. And so I am consuming significantly less food than what I was eating before. And so I think we're at that point of the video where we talk numbers. And I think that's something that obviously everyone is always excited to hear about and to, understand. And so 14 days on Ozempic, where am I at? I have lost 10 pounds so far. That's where I'm at. And of course, I'm well aware that the first couple weeks is a lot of water weight as well as just inflammation starting to settle down. But it is definitely exciting to see that 14 days in and I have lost weight. And this seems to be going relatively normally to any other time I've tried to lose weight. It seems like it's significantly easier and with less effort. I don't necessarily feel like I'm dieting. I don't feel like I'm suffering, and this isn't like this terrible, very difficult thing that I have to do. It's more of a just simple lifestyle change this time, and it does feel that way. Very, very interesting, super unique, and honestly, it's just one of those things that now I'm thinking back in the last couple weeks, and it feels like it flew right by. And now, quick pause, because I think at this point, what I'm realizing is some people don't even know what a GLP-1 is. People have heard the name Ozempic. People have understood, kind of, sort of. Some people lose weight. Super slimmed out. No scientific explanation behind it. what is a GLP-1? GLP-1 really helps regulate your sugar. They also slow down digestion. And so the whole idea is it slows down your digestion. And then, of course, from there, it makes you feel fuller longer. That's basically the simplest way to explain it. It also helps with the hunger signal in your brain. And so I think that's where a lot of that brain fog and that brain noise, I guess the food noise comes from, is that that signaling that goes to your brain. Now, I think the easiest way to describe it, super straightforward, is that it just really gives you space. Honestly, it gives you that space to think, gives you that space to live and not have to just constantly be thinking about food. Now, I don't see Ozempic as this cheat code by any means. This is week 2 for me, and the one thing I have noticed is that you still have to increase your exercise, you have to increase your activity. This is not going to be a magical pill by any means that's just going to make you lose a bunch of weight. Yes, it does help with the food suppression in the sense of you're not always as hungry, but when you're on this medication, you have to take the time to also understand what you should be eating. So how do you change what you're eating so that you're getting the right things in, but also making sure that you're becoming more active so that you can actually teach your body how to sustain this long term. And so I think that's, leading great into what the next few weeks is going to be like. I'm going to continue to increase my exercise, increase my activity, because I think that's the one thing that the first couple weeks I didn't do as much of a focus on. I did do some activity, but not as much activity as I should have. And so the next few weeks is definitely going to be, how can I increase that activity? How do I push myself so that I'm not accidentally losing muscle? And of course, that'll also help me just feel significantly better, because of course, anyone who's ever done exercise knows that once you're done, you do typically feel better. So yeah, 2 weeks in, 10 pounds down, and I'm really excited to see kind of what comes in the next little bit. Honestly, leading into the holidays, a little nervous, but at the same time, I'm excited that I'm going into it already having lost some. Because of course, if I plateau or if I, waver a little bit because of the holidays, I'm not going to feel as bad about it, given the fact that I've already got a pretty good kickstart into this journey. And so I'm excited to kind of see what comes up in the next few weeks, to be honest. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep showing you guys what's going on, and I'll always do it as real as possible, because honestly, I have nothing to hide at this point. And so, if you haven't done so already, if you can like and comment, and then I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.